Greetings, Jedi traders. David here of TradingFibs.com to bring you the daily trend for week 42, day 4. It is Thursday, October 20th, 2016. As always, please seek financial advisement when trading with your money, as these videos are for educational purposes only. To support your knowledge of the market, see what was going through my head on any given day. Always make sure you have a solid trading plan and always manage your stop when placing a trade. All right, session recap. Here we go. Day number 4. It's been an interesting week, to say the least. Not until today did we have any movement to speak of any matter. Actually been just kind of waiting on daily earnings to see if market's going to move. That started this week, and some economic numbers coming out. So there we are for the week. The numbers based on, obviously, highest probability setups. Today, nice move, 11 setups there. Taking a look at only the ES and the NQ today, split up by setups. We'll take a look at those charts, and here we go. If anything, a charts of interest here, check out this picture. This is a common, well, I should say a non-common, seen here on the screen share in the trading room, where price action was completely downside on all 6 charts. Well, what 6 charts are we looking at? We have the 3 indices at the bottom, NQ, YM, and ES, and at the top, crude, gold, and the 6E. Obviously, we'll take a look at a bigger picture on these charts here, but for just a moment, just appreciate the fact that this rarely happens, and when all of it happens, one of these markets is obviously going to eventually self-correct itself and get back in the other direction. Obviously, dollar was to the upside as we saw crude and gold coming down, but was worth taking the picture with most charts in sync and down to the red there in the first couple hours of trading. All right, let's jump into the ES today. Taking a look at the entries and exits. Arrows indicating where the setups were. Highest probability setup, again, underneath the T350 and underneath the cloud. That would be this first initial setup here on the ES. Taking one contract off based on whatever trade management strategy you had set up for today. But you got a trend here. 1, we had another trend to the upside. 2 is price action broke upside. And again, we're not looking for setups that are absolutely at either extremes. We're looking for a piece of the pie. Granted, once in a while, we get a nice setup where price action crosses over after some consolidation, and then bang, to the upside, never looks back. Well, those are grand old days, but this is the bread and butter of looking for setups of any given trading day. So here we are, set up to the downside underneath. You take a contract off, you let it run, you exit on the crossover. Nice move. Price action back to the upside. Again, one of the things you might be looking for is order flow. Maybe something useful, a trend indicator that might be useful for you and trying to catch even an earlier signal. But here, just based on the moving averages, just a simple strategy, guys. Obviously, the more charts in sync, the better off you are. You could see here the longer runs when you had more charts in sync. All right, there was our ES on the AM session. Taking a look at the PM session as we got into pre-earnings for Microsoft and PayPal. Again, nice valid setups here to the downside, whether you took those or not. The point is that you're watching the AD line on your right-hand side here, and you'll see as price action came down, well, if you got in, maybe you come off a little bit sooner as the AD line migrated all the way down to a familiar level and then bounced its way back up. And once it bounced its way back up, reject there, not enough time to even get in a setup, you might as well just hold off. All right, so there was our ES for session. Again, similar picture here on the NQ. Nice clean setups, downside, upside, not much here. Clean downside. Core setup, again, looking for price action on the downside trend. And you can see for the most part, we just ended up with a pretty much choppy session, but nice long swings today to give you an opportunity to at least maybe get a runner, or if you decide to just go in and out, nothing wrong with that. YM, similar picture here in the AM session, a little bit of movement downside, give you a nice bigger lift than the NQ there. Once back downside and back upside. And again, we can see the same picture here on the YM as we got into the end session. You get into chop, you start to see a valid setup. You're underneath the cloud, you're underneath T350, right? You got all the charts in sync, you're excited, you want to go, and then no, what do you notice? You notice the AD line stalling right here for some time, right here downside. at a familiar level, and you decide maybe it's just, best to hold off as we run into earnings here anyway. All right, let's take a look at the daily gaps. Price action closing out the daily gap on the NQ down here at 48.1050. And crude setting up with a new gap today here at 51.17. Nothing else on the ES or YM as we have both open gaps above and below. Did really well on the fib levels today as price action managed to get both. Now remember, taking the fib draw from the previous day, open to close, and you got the the high to the low. Take your 50%, match it up with the midnight open, and you got yourself fib targets. Whether you do that on a 24-hour chart or whether you do that on a regular trading hour session, gives you some nice targets. But we, based on yesterday's session, which was pretty small as far as range bound, you're going to get smaller, tighter, obviously, targets. So did really nice today on the fib levels. All right, so, let's jump into some of the charts as we do each day. Let's take a look at the crude. Again, this is the screen share that we look at every day here. Here again, we saw the crude pulling off from some nice highs most recently. We'll take a look at the daily big pick where technical momentum is here. But right now, for the most part, identifying the highest possible entries today or highest possible setups, whether you took those or not. You had, again, core setup here as price action. That was overnight. Here to the downside, looking at the U.S. trading hours, here's the market open. There was your setup to the downside, short underneath T350 with 5 charts in the red. There's a beauty entry on the crude. Nothing really to the upside as it never crossed the T350, and there it is back to the downside. Solid body tail down, which gives you an entry to the crude to the downside as it neared or closed in on the regular trading hours for the crude, or most of the volume at least. All right, taking a look at the gold here. Again, on the gold, we saw price action to the downside. Here, it was price action opening up around here. You had a sell signal. Didn't get very far, and then once price action got back up above the T350 cross upside, got yourself a nice swing. And then gold pretty much to the downside. There was that move here that we saw in sync with the rest of the indices that gave you some leverage on the charts. Not all charts in sync, but at least to get one contract off and a runner. Again, pretty much gold showing up flat here today. And last, actually trend of the day almost. Here we had the 6E showing up here as price action got a nice lift here. Again, nothing too quick here. 843, 14, 19. Again, went a little bit quick at the beginning. Maybe the pullback he got in. But again, to identify high trend, yep, you got 5 charts in the green. Everything is upside. And then price action pulls back. Here you got a core setup, but it's between the T350 and the 5144. Not a favorite setup of mine. Would rather look for a setup over here. Pull back. Again, pullback's a lot tougher. Maybe you waited till the slope change and then you got on. So big picture on the 6E downtrend today. All right, let's take a look at the daily big pick as we move ahead into tomorrow's session. Where are we at? Again, today's price action not indicative of anything that might happen tomorrow. Only an indicator of where we are technically. You got to be ready in both directions. Leave that bias outside and leave the charts to where you want to focus your momentum and identify charts in trend. And exactly where we are, NQ, ES, and YM today all across the board. Nice volume, as you can see, down at the bottom, pushing up to the 60 period moving average here. And NQ finding support at the 50 again. We got this open zone here, 4802.50 to 43.75, kind of waffling consolidation all across the board. No question about that. Actually opening up an ES for the previous almost year here. We could see we got this nice lift, a nice volume here towards in the beginning of June, and then we just pretty much consolidated. We had a nice return from summer and pretty much has been quieting down until today, which we got this lift, but we still sitting in between the 50 and the 200 here on a regular trading hours chart. It's the 4-hour chart looking at the intermediate price action. Again, if you're trading ETFs, this might help you out. Price action again, finding the resistance here. Finally NQ finding a lift up to the T350, but finding that resistance, and this is whether you're watching on a long term or a short term or intraday, it works. Price action resistance here, so we're not getting that oomph until finally NQ breaks out today. So we're still in a downtrend as the 50 is still below the 144, but at least on a Heikin Ashi bar, we've broken through both those, and that's the reason for the green background. So I still got to get that 50 above the 144 to have a confirmed uptrend, but right now with price action breaking upside, I still go with the downtrend pullback, but nice lift as we found support on the 50 SMA. YM and ES, I still got to go with the downtrend even though price actions crossed the T350, but 50 still below the 144, so I still have to go with the downtrend, but still in a pullback. Taking a look at the crude. Crude still holding up strong, 50 above 200, no question about it. I know you're hearing out there, crude coming down, crude coming down. Look, if crude passes the 144, then I'll be the first in here to say that, yeah, we got some serious issues with crude. But if we keep holding up and finding support at some key moving averages, whether it's on the 4-hour chart or whether it's on the daily chart here between the 200 and the 50, I'm still going to go with crude to the upside. And again, crude to the upside means that we're going to go ahead and maybe chase out those daily gaps that I have up here, whether you're looking at volume profile, you're just looking at an open gap. I have one up here at 55.41 that would just love to be closed out. All right, gold, I got to go still with the downtrend, 50 below the 144, but above the T350. So definitely we are in a pullback in a downtrend, finding support around that 200 SMA. Still have to go with the downtrend as that's the key indicator here. But once price action crossed the 50, I had a pullback upside. But bigger picture, 51.44, I still have to go with the downside. And then finally, price action here on the bonds underneath the 50. Still same picture as we found resistance 144. Look, I'll be the first also to say once price action finds to be above the 144, then I'll go with bonds to the upside. But for now, I still got to go with downside as price action holding between the 50 and the 144. All right, wrap it up. EMD mid-cap 400 on the S&P. It's price action holding in between the 144 and the 50. Tight here inside. Still have to go with the downside as they're on the ES as well. Consolidation as we head into the end of election season here. Price action on the 60, if that has anything to do with it. 60 here to the downside as 50 below 144. So I'm going to go with the euro still. Find that resistance up here at the T350, but ended up today still downside on the euro. And then the yen, also technical momentum, I'm going to remain to the downside as we find we're in between the 51.44 and the 50 in the 200. And again, if any of these charts help you out in your daily decision or weekly decision, hope you find some value. If not, then maybe one piece of it help you remain in the trend. That would be the goal as we do on an intraday basis. All right, ECB with its monetary talk today. Draghi on the waves here as we had William, who was it up today? Yeah, William Dudley, Fed speaker 3 times today, actually expressing views on the current federal rate hike as if it's going to happen by the end of the year. But as far as ECB is concerned, nothing really probably till next year. At any point, it's all about Brexit, election, who knows. Jobless comes out today. Philly Fed, a couple of Red Star events as we lead in tomorrow. We have actually existing home sales. A couple of Fed speakers, but very light on the Friday. Options expiry as well. And that's where we stand currently in our technical momentum. All right, that concludes an insight into the daily trend. Feel free to stop by at my Trading Fibs website or any of my social media outlets. To obtain more information, my mantra of one simple strategy, any market, any chart, any time frame will keep you disciplined. You can find me every day on Twitter here at Trading Fibs. And as always, I leave the crystal ball to the experts. I only trade what's in front of me and on my charts. As always, leave your bias at the door when trading. Hey guys, first video of the week yesterday. A little bit of a light week. Yesterday, day 3, we had a member of our room put on a webinar here presentation on order flow, something we hope to look at in the next month, weeks to come, as far as looking for always for that early turnaround as price action crosses that T310 on the charts. when we're in trend, looking at the counter trend and really seeing if the order flow is going to support the move to the upside. Could be a potential. So check out the video here. Trading session recap, week 42, day 3. Again, those studies that he's made available will be to members of the room only. But if you at least get something out of the video, kudos. Hey guys, if this is your first time watching the video, feel free to send me an email if you have any questions. You're more than welcome to join us on Thursdays and Fridays in the room to check it out and ask any questions. If you don't catch us this week, just go ahead and email me, david@tradingfibs.com, and we'll see if we can get you in next week. All right, have yourselves a Blue Zone day wherever you may be. Have yourselves a good day. Have yourselves a good night, and good trading to you.